right, here we are back in the car. Round 3 of the Swiss stage of Worlds 2024 has concluded. As of today, the final 2 series took place, both elimination series for teams that were 0-2 in the previous BO1s, and we're going to go over them. Picks, 2 for 0. Didn't get the series score right for the first series, but I'm happy to get that one right. I feel good about that one because I'm just a big hater, let's be real. So let's get right into it. Gam versus Mad Lions Koi. Forgot that that's what the K stood for, to be honest. But happy it works out for both orgs. Anyways, game 1 I was going through it. You can tell by my notes. I wrote, nice. Gam wants me to be wrong and gives Yone in draft and gives him 2 early kills. Nice. So that is what happened. This game was a complete disaster. It's like the fastest game of the Swiss stage, I think. Mad destroyed Gam in 21 minutes. It was just like terrible. It was horrible to watch. They gave Yone. I couldn't even begin to comprehend why they would do that. It just looked bad. Mad actually looked like a team somehow. I have some stuff in here about how they should not invite Gam's region anymore, and like they deserve to lose. Like there's barely any notes. It's me just being mean to Gam because there's nothing else to do in that game. That's the whole analysis. They just completely were terrible for the whole game. Like there was no anything good. They just got completely blown out and ran into the ground in 20 minutes. So that's about all I got for that game, and this is where it gets fun. Let's go to game 2. Game 2, Yone gets through again. Got through all 3 games this series, which is insanity, but this time Gam gets to play it, so I was a little more confident in winning this game, to be honest. This had that fiesta feel of a game. It was just, 40 kills in this game? To be fair, Mad only had 12 of them, but this was a complete barn burner of a game. I really liked Gam's comp. I think it was really hard for Supa to play Xayah in this game. I played a lot of Xayah in my life, and I wouldn't want to be playing into this comp at all. Like Misfortune, horrible matchup. Yone is just hard to deal with. He doesn't really get punished by the feathers the way you'd like, and just the whole Kennen Wukong dive. I wouldn't want to be any squishy in this game, to be honest. And Mad was pretty much all squishies besides Vi, and Elyoya died 8 times, so what can you do about that? So yeah, it's just 13 minutes was like 6-7. Then a few minutes later, after just basically a complete fiesta, Gam had a massive MF ult, up 13-11 at 28 minutes. It was just complete barn burner all the way through, like I said. And all of this Ahri at one point was very, very, very fed.
Phone book update failed.
Phone book update failed. Thanks, Car. So first Kali was like 6-0 and ended up going 6-4-0. So, really good late game play from him. And we went to game 3. I mean, Gam just completely blew them up at Dragon 3-0. And that's where Supa did a backwards Xayah ult. Really hurt my feelings. I didn't like that. And then he just super ultra griefed at some later point in the fight. Just looked gross. And then Fresskowy was behind the whole team as Ahri. 5 people just went and killed him, and then the game ended. It was a really cool way for him to just lose. Overall, this was a complete brutal fiesta nonsense where Gam just won every single fight for the most part. Because I have it written that it was 13-11 Gam at 28 minutes, and it ended 28-12. So Mad got 1 more kill after that. So that's basically the end of their success, was getting any kills around there. And yeah, after 42 minutes, we go to game 3, and I was hyped. I was ready. And then I saw them give Yone again, but in my head I was like, Fresskowy's the only mid laner that I can see giving Yone to, because you actually just don't respect him enough because he's bad. He just isn't good enough. He does not deserve to be at this tournament. And I thought it was a draft diff. I thought Mads was way simpler. My notes have Fresskowy on the Gnar. That's pretty cool, because that didn't happen. It would have been crazy. He might as well have been playing Gnar, let's be honest here. But yeah, Fresskowy looked like a stinker.
Update failed.
That is so annoying. I fixed it. Car's off now. So, early on, Gam had a nice dive in the bot lane. 2 for 0. Really good start. And then, you just feel. It's like Levi Nocturne. It's just in the game you're feeling that it could be possible. And just the fact that Mad's in the game makes it feel possible. Moving on some note. Merwin had a horrible flash. He was at like 80 HP running away from his turret in the top lane and just flashed and died anyways. It was gross. Even the casters were like, what? And at some point, Azael said that Merwin was closing the CS gap when it had actually doubled. I thought that was pretty funny. And most of this is just Mad Flame, because really this was not a close game. It was 24-8. It wasn't even remotely close. Easy Love had 11 kills on the Kalista. He looked great. Kiaya looked like a beast, 7-0-13 on the Aurora. He's real. Kiaya is a very good player. Like, he is a world's caliber player. I truly believe that. And he showed that. There was a 4-2 fight. Kiaya got a triple kill in that one. And then Fresskowy, oh my god, there was this fight where he just like Yon ults in and just misses everything. It happened multiple times, and they lost because of that play. I mean, they lost in 27 minutes. This wasn't even a close game. The just took a Baron and the game ended. Like, it was just out of nowhere. Well, it wasn't the most out of nowhere because they were up 10k, but it was like, oh, this Fresskowy guy wants his last impression on a professional team ever to be him griefing into a minor region team, and that's what it was, and that was the end of the game. So yeah, very happy I predict this right. Gam takes it. Not 2-0 like I said, but 2-1. I'm taking it. I'm happy with that prediction. Goodbye, Mad Lions. I hope you never show up with a roster like this again at any tournament. I'm surprised you were allowed to play in the LEC with this guy on your team. But now I don't have to flame them anymore. Very happy. No longer watching. It's like being freed mentally. A big stress off my shoulders. So we'll move on. TL versus PNG. Just get right into game one. It was a pretty chill draft for the most part. There was a lot more fighting than I wanted to see. I really wanted to just see the FlyQuest approach. Just be boring, get through this game, get through these players. But Pain, they came to play. They actually looked quite good. Nocturne was impressing me just in general this Worlds. Ezreal stole the Dragon in both games this series, actually. One for each team. TL ended up winning the fight around there. There was a pretty gross dive by Core in the top lane. He just kind of killed himself for zero reason. It was kind of wild. And Impacts was stinking it up this series. I'm going to be honest. He looked bad. This Jax was useless. And it was Yeon. Yeon on the Kai'Sa looked great. He was 9-0-3 in this game. Complete and absolute carry job. Kill participation was 80%. Just beautiful. I mean, Impact was back in the game at some point, but not because of anything he did. Because the other team lost fights and he got to split push. He did not look good this series. And I'll talk about that in my predictions for the next round coming up soon. They did end up giving Soul for Baron when they were already winning. I did not like that choice, and the casters reciprocated that. It felt weird. They were already winning that game. They built a 5k gold lead just by kind of existing on the map and doing things better. And then they gave this massive 5,000 gold worth objective for seemingly no reason. And they wasted 2 TPs on the Baron. I did not like that, and the poke from Kai'Sa was going to get nullified. But then it was down in the red side bottom jungle. There was kind of the start of a fight. Team Liquid got a lot of players low, and APA went in with 200 HP on Ahri, hits a nice charm, and then Yeon just carries the whole thing, blows up the whole team fight, and the game ends on the spot. Puts the team on his back. Game 1 goes to Liquid in 36 minutes, and I was like, okay. That gave me the confidence that they would play just fine in the next game. I wasn't ever really worried, but Pain looked good, if you know what I mean. They were still the worst team, but they did not look like a bunch of griefers by any means. They came to play, and it was nice to watch because the game wasn't boring them. So game 2, another very standard drafts. I mean, these are drafts you'd see, a few seasons ago. Not much has really changed in the time. The newest true champion in this game is Rel, and then after that, all the champions have been in the game for. It's Rel and Nico, and then after that, it's old champs. So it was a pretty chill draft, nothing crazy. Lots of grubs to PSG in this game. They went 6-0. Traded some 80s bot lane. I didn't like the Jhin game for Titan. I didn't like it. There's too much front line. I didn't think he would be useful, and he wasn't. Jhin needs squishies, and even then he needs the right comp. I do like compared with the Nocturne, and we'll get to that. This was the Nocturne Orianna looked good. I mean, Pain was hitting good Nocturne Orianna combos. Even in fights they lost, you could see it, and it was you liked what you saw with that one. So yep, TL's up 3-2 at 8 minutes, got a 1k gold lead just innately. They get an Infernal Dragon. PNG was, again, I haven't written here, they didn't look trash. They looked like they belonged where they belonged. They looked like a region winning team. Ended up, evening up the gold, 6 grubs, but then APA just ends up with 4 kills on this Nico. He was very powerful. Some really strong fights. Not the greatest fights ever. There was a 3-for-3 up by the Baron Pit where APA pretty much missed everything, and it was still a 3-for-3. And I really thought with the lack of flashes that it was going to be a good fight for TL next, but it ended up PNG Got 3-0 at the Rift Herald. That was an Ori Nocturne brutalization. It just worked perfectly, blew up the whole fight 3-0. And, Impact was just playing terrible. Oh, just awful. He getting like solo killed and just, he was off this series. I hope that was off because that was not good. But this is the game where Yeon stole the dragon on the Ezreal with the ulti. Basically the same thing happened. The jungler just didn't smite at all. This game was close going into, mid and late game, still within 1k. Impact was down like 2k individually. Like, I can't stress enough how gross that was. PNG denies the Ocean Soul but loses their jungler. TL gets a Baron, but APA like TP's in and ults no one and dies instantly, and they lose 2. It doesn't look very good, and Nocturne Ori was, again, it just looked like it was going to be a constant threat. There was a worry in my head, like, these fights, it just takes one, and it's going to get blown up. And speaking of blowing up, bam, 29 minutes, 5-0 fight. Team Liquid ends the game on the spot, just absolutely annihilates anything left of PNG during that Baron buff. So it was only like a minute and a half later. And yeah, that was the end of it. It was a great game from Nico. The Skarner looked really good this game. Ezreal for Yeon also looked really good. And yeah, get excited. We got 2 NA teams with a pretty reasonable chance to, well, Fly can't be eliminated in their next game, and TL's got a pretty not bad matchup. So there's hope. Maybe we can get some Western teams in those quarterfinals. That'd be cool. I'd like to see some NA representation. But yeah, that was the recap for today. It's getting good now. Round 4 is gonna be fun. Not the closest series ever, but come on, G2 T1. You got to be excited for that. We're getting into the all the matches really matter now. All best of 3s. And yeah, look out for my full round 4 Swiss stage predictions and previews. I'm just going to do it all at once. It's probably going to be up tomorrow sometime around now, hopefully. I'll get that all set. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Subscribe now or don't. And yeah, see you in the prediction video. Cheers.